sex is very effective. It's a very effective way of getting out of your feelings. It's an effective way to feel pleasure. It's an effective way to feel a lot of things. Although I would say a lot of the people that we work with report not even necessarily feeling a lot of pleasure in the sex that they take part in.
But it's also an effective place to like shame people. Like it's a really high point for just our pleasure, our own self-doubt or self-consciousness.
When you think about the initial types of shaming that many of the folks that we work with experience, it is such a vulnerable place to be examining, exploring one's sexuality, and then have their hand slapped.
Being a sex positive program is working with people to say, like, is this something you really need to feel shame about? Like, is having a particular kink or fetish or a sexual orientation or being interested in multiple sexual partners, like, is that such a bad thing?
Right. What inherently is wrong with that? We didn't talk about this question in advance, but is the use of pornography, the viewing of it, driving in compulsive behavior, or is it just a place that people go to spend some of that energy? And you might have 3 different opinions about that.
That's a great question. I tend to believe that it gets connected to that because of what Sean was saying before, and the 3 of us, I think, all acknowledge is that sexual behavior is very, very effective. It can create numbness. It can create this sense of escape. It wards off a lot of different feeling states, and it's pleasurable. And that we try to help people move towards what's pleasurable and so on. It has so many different effects. And they say this in some 12-step meetings. Someone stops drinking and then they overeat. Someone stops overeating and then they turn to sexual behavior. They call it changing seats on the Titanic. These are what we like to call manic defenses. They're defenses of ways to try and not be present and have to feel. And oftentimes that has a lot to do with grief. Grieving things that we did not get when we were children and things like that.
I have a slightly different feeling about it. I think that more about technology than pornography itself. I think we have become deeply addicted to technology in our society. We walk down the streets in New York City and people are staring at their phones as they walk down the street. They say very connected to their technology, and porn is found there. So we live in this sort of gamified world. We run several groups at the program, and one of the things that some of the people in the groups struggle with is they avoid porn, they avoid sex workers and massage parlors and infidelities, and they go on Instagram,
right?
And the algorithm is pushing whatever they like at them. And so they're like, I literally can't avoid it. And then they see the Instagram image and then they're down the rabbit hole from there. Yeah. So there's a little bit of, I think, chicken or egg going on, or a little bit of both.
Yeah, I was nodding my head vigorously at what you were saying, Sean, because I feel very strongly that it's not necessarily porn as a genre so much as the technologies through which people are viewing porn that can be a major issue. I do think there's something going on where these algorithms are intentionally inducing that. It becomes very reductive and unhelpful with clients if we just end the story there, right? Something that Mike likes to say a lot and that a lot of us have been experimenting with recently is let's take the sex out of it, right? Or let's take the porn out of it, or let's take the whatever it is, fill in the blank, out of it. Because it's very easy for our clients to over-identify with the problem as that's who they are, that's just how it is.
Right.
And the reality is that in 98% of cases, if it weren't for the underlying issues that led to the out-of-control sexual behavior, that it doesn't matter how good the algorithm is, it wouldn't be a major issue.
That is really well put. And I do feel like that has been kind of our thing that we've been playing with about, if you take the sex out of it, what are you doing? I appreciate both answers, actually. I really do feel that makes so much sense.